So I think the report goes into some great detail about how this landscape has greatly changed. The report focuses in, I think, on the impact of the pandemic and technology, I think, in giving access to retail voters. And it talks a lot about as well how the profile of a retail shareholder and in turn voter. I mean, voting, I suppose, is the interesting aspect, one of the key aspects in proximity for us. But just from a shareholder standpoint, they're fiercely loyal in how they invest in companies. So I think a lot of companies have had a lot of revelation around the loyalty of a retail shareholder. They're much more longer term focused. There may be an institutional investor who are much more focused, on the quarterly numbers and obsessing over that. A retail investor definitely presents themselves, particularly now, as a loyal investor. The main thing for me was the amount of time that is being spent in engaging with this group in terms of how they want to attend meetings, the amount of retail shareholders that they want to come and attend an AGM. Sometimes these meetings can be deemed to be quite procedural, not necessarily always be deemed the most interesting way for an individual retail shareholder to spend their time, but they're deeply interested in attending. And I think that has really spurred on the digital dimension of engaging with retail shareholders. So particularly with the pandemic, there was a massive surge in virtual attendance. The report talks to that and some of the providers in that space. And that's really opened up, though, the capability for any retail investor to enroll, to attend a meeting, to listen. But the main thing they want to do is they want to ask questions, and they want to actually engage with the company. Marks & Spencer is one of the company issuers that's mentioned in the report, and how they've got a really active retail shareholder base who's loyal, long-standing. They want to engage with the company on issues around ESG, and they want to provide that facilitation. So they want to give them digital access to the meeting. And the value that's put now on having email addresses for these investors, this was a space that was quite expensive to service in previous days, where the only way you were going to get to a retail shareholder was to send them something in the mail, if they were a registered holder. Now with email, companies, their agents, providers are able to get to large thousands of these shareholders where emails are on file, facilitate them attending meetings, asking questions, attending engagement sessions. I think one of the areas that's a little bit more intricate to give access to is the fund space. So a lot of shareholders and retail shareholders are investing with funds with some of the big fund managers of the world. And that's where, you're investing in one vehicle and on your behalf, that fund manager is then investing in multiple companies on your behalf. So unlike our Marks & Spencer example in the report, where you have a direct shareholder engaging with the company, you could be a shareholder in a vehicle where your money's actually being invested with multiple companies. And up until recently, it's really been accepted that the fund manager would handle engagement with the company in that scenario. So if you're invested in one of those big funds, you'd leave it to the fund manager. They'd vote at the shareholder meetings on your behalf. They would run engagement throughout the year as material holders in those companies on your behalf. What we see now is a two-way channel in which the investors, they also care about their investments within those funds, their feelings on ESG, and they're wanting to have a voice with their investment. It doesn't just go down to direct investment with companies. They want to be able to engage via their fund manager in those kind of vehicles as well. That sort of fund manager opening the doors to allowing investors in their funds to have a say is a very emerging need, where the technology is really going to come to the fore to open up that channel as well for the retail investor.